right, Coach. Obviously, you end the weekend with a high, but just your thoughts on Lubbock Christians.
Well, I know it sounds crazy. We lost two and won one, but really, I thought it was a pretty good weekend. We scored 17 runs against two pitchers who can really pitch it. From Lubbock Christian, and we had a chance to win all three games. Our two losses were both extra inning losses, and we were one swing away from winning all three games. So, yes, disappointed that we lost 2 out of 3, of course, but at the same time, happy with the way that we competed, happy the way we took one of the top 3 teams in this conference and had a chance to win all 3. We played together as a unit, I thought, all weekend, and it was nice, obviously, to have Genesis back, and we had a complete pitching staff for the first time in a while, and that's going to be big for us going forward. We got to try to figure out a way to give Cheyenne Floyd some rest now, because she's the only one that hasn't been injured, and she has pitched every one of these series. And again, we had a midweek series with Texas A&M International. Had to go down to Laredo on Tuesday, Wednesday, and won 2 out of 3 down there, which was nice. And it's the end of the year. The end of the year is always fatiguing, but with this schedule, when you're playing 9 games every other week, it's pretty tough, and it's wearing on everybody. So we'll give them a little rest these first couple days this week, and then pretty much just have one full practice this week, and then we'll go up to Cameron and play a good Cameron team up there in Lawton, Oklahoma.
Do you think not having a midweek series will help kind of in the long run once you guys go to Cameron and then get conference play?
That it is, and that's another reason why I say the fatigue's caught up. We hadn't had our bye weekend yet. Everybody else has, but we haven't, and I'm not excited about the fact that the bye weekend comes right before the conference tournament, because you would like to play, but it may be a good thing. It just kind of depends on how we deal with it and how we respond after the fact. Our conference tournament is a single elimination tournament, so that's kind of the scary part, is if you do go lose the first game, which is definitely a possibility in this conference, then you've only played 1 game in 2 weeks if you make it to regionals. So it's not the best setup, but it is what it is, and it's what we got ahead of us. And after going through this whole schedule, this entire schedule without having a bye weekend, it's going to be refreshing. I'm not going to lie, and it's going to be good for our kids and health-wise, mentally. It's going to be good for the coaching staff. I mean, we'll go do some recruiting, but to get away from it a little bit and then regroup and come back and get ready for the playoffs. So. Well, it is what it is. We'll have to figure out how to manage it as a staff. We've talked about it a little bit, but really it's going to truly depend on how we feel our team is health-wise and mentally wise going into it.
Just for you guys, obviously, when you guys do get to game week or game time later this week, your early synopsis on Cameron.
Well, they've got a good team. They play hard. They got 3 pitchers that they trust. One's a lefty. The other 2 are right-handers. They're all 3 a little bit different. An experienced offensive lineup. A team that can run some bases. They can hit for some power. They've got a good catcher behind the plate who throws the ball really well. So it's going to be hard to just steal as much as we would like to. And we're still going to when we have the opportunity, but we can't just freely go and hope that we make it safely. I mean, she's going to throw some people out if you go enough. And it's just, I don't know, it's been a little difficult place for us to play for whatever reason lately. There's no excuse for it really, but it is what it is. So just a team. You got a brand new coach, and she's a young coach who's brought a lot of passion and a lot of fire to the program, it seems like. And they've had a solid year, that's for sure. I think they're 26-18, something like that. So similar record to us, but a little bit better. But they've got some tough games ahead of them here at the end, so it's really, there's some big matchups in these last 2 weeks of the season to see where everything shakes out in that, because again, that 5 through 9 is really a close race, so it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out. We could end up in probably the 5th spot, or we could end up in the 10th spot, so we'll just have to see. But I think right now we're in 7, but we could very easily end up higher than that if we go play well and some things happen to the teams ahead of us. But whatever it is, we know we're going to be in the conference tournament. We know we're on the bubble. Regional rankings wise, I would have to think that we're in consideration if we're not in the top 8. We got to be, but we could definitely get there if we go play well and have some things happen too on the other end.
You mentioned the offense too this past weekend, and then you guys picked up that win on Sunday. Do you think that's enough to kind of help kickstart y'all into this final series?
I think it could. You know, to go out and again beat a good pitcher down at or 2 good pitchers down at International, 2 kids that are throwing the ball really well, and run rule. They're number 1 in the first game. That was big. And then to go out and score 7 runs off of Maxine Valdez, who threw a no-hitter last week against Cameron. To go out and score 7 off of her was big. We came from behind and tied it up in the 7th, which is something that we haven't done in a while. Keely Garcia hit an absolute missile out of there in the 5th or 6th inning over the scoreboard in dead center, and then Lindsey Evans with the clutch home run to tie it up in the bottom of the 7th to send us to extra innings. But I think it could. You know, again, I'll go back to having Malaya Burns back in the lineup is huge, and then what Ashlyn Lerma's doing at the top of the lineup is phenomenal. You know, kudos to her for tying the single-season stolen base record yesterday, and you know, Alexis Wing was an amazing player, and to be in the same category as Alexis Wing is something that Ashlyn needs to be very proud of, and hopefully, you know, she can break a record this weekend. You know, it was going back to this past weekend, it was a great day for our seniors. Our 4 seniors are playing really well. You know, our season's kind of been like this. Theirs haven't. They have been phenomenal. Paxton and Lerma and Bailey Martinez and Malaya Burns have had great seasons, and it's always nice and really rewarding to go out on senior day yesterday and get those seniors a win.
My last one for you, like you mentioned, your season's kind of been like that, and ever since I first talked to you, you seem kind of like a little frustrated with kind of how the season started and how it's been. So for you, do you kind of feel at least a little bit better to see how your team has progressed throughout the year?
Yes and no. I mean, we're just not used to, you know, at Angelo State softball, we're not used to having 21 losses right now, and we're not used to having 21 losses at the end of the year. So this is something that's been a challenge for us. It's been a challenge for me personally on how to deal with my team and how to handle it, because it's not something that I'm used to, and I'm used to, you know, I feel pretty good about pushing the right buttons at the right time to get teams going, and it's been a little bit of a challenge this year to figure out when to push, when to back off, and all that good stuff. So it's been an educational experience for me as well. But like we talk to our team all the time, you know, and you hear coaches say this all the time, athletics prepares you for life, and you're going to have adversity in life, and you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have terrible days. You're going to have horrible days at work. You may even get fired. And how do you respond is critical. And, you know, that's what these girls are learning this year, and I am proud of the way they're continuing the battle. You know, I think game 2 against Lubbock Christian was a big example of that. We're down 7-3 in the 5th, and we tied up in the 7th and make it a 7-7 game, send it to extra innings. So that's something that I'm proud of the way that they're continuing to work. They're continuing to learn and grow together as a team and as individuals. And you know, we've said this forever in the Lone Star Conference. If you can just make it to the playoffs, and anybody's got a chance to win, and I feel that's the same about our team. I think we could be a scary team come playoff time.